What an interesting and beautiful woman I'm going to introduce you to next here on Author's Corner. We had such a fabulous conversation off the air, so let's bring it to you on the air. 40 Days of Healing, a book of meditations, prayers, and testimonials of healing. Judy Cobb is with us right now. Judy, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So you and I talked about the importance of healing and what that journey's like. And you told me that, something traumatic happened and you did the 40 days of healing, and certainly people around you saw the power of that. What else was it that made you want to write this book?
I saw people who were in church who were not accessing the healing that God gives. It was as if they were oblivious to it. They didn't know that He heals, that He blesses, that He restores, that He empowers. And to me, it's like there has to be a community of faith. Perhaps by reading the scriptures and the narratives and the testimonies that are in this book, people will see the reality of God being a healer.
And you gave me some great examples of, because right away somebody says to you, well, what does that mean, healing? And you told me the example of a young woman and her father's death and how that shook her, and then how she was able to sort of open up and, I don't know if it was embrace it, but she felt that healing spirit. Explain that story.
We were standing at the gravesite, and they had just lowered the father's coffin into the grave, and I could see her spirit drop. And I touched her arm lightly, and I said to her, the love that your father had for you is still with you. It did not go into that grave. And when I said that to her, her countenance changed. I could see her spirit lift, and it really made a tremendous difference. We are always looking for love, and the love is always available to us from God. Yet we seldom go to God as the source of that unconditional, eternal love that He offers.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because of the times we live in? Do you think it's because of, a rise of atheism or agnostic people? Why do you think that is now?
I don't think it's agnostics at all. Unfortunately, I've seen church leaders who want to connect people to themselves rather than connect people to God. And so it's like, well, I'm the way that you get to God. I'm the way that you get your blessing. And it's like, no, you're supposed to liberate us. Your job is to set us free so that nothing hinders us from getting to God.
So it's a man-made problem in a sense.
That's my perception of it. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, boy, that's a whole nother story, that's for sure. So again, the book is called 40 Days of Healing, a book of meditations, prayers, and testimonies of healing. You can pick it up on Amazon. We're speaking with Judy Cobb. Judy, you also told me another story that was so powerful about your brother. Tell the listeners, share that story with the listeners.
This is so incredible. My brother was about to be inducted into the Army, and so he was over 18 years old, and he comes back home. He runs through the door, and he says, Mother, did you know that I had polio as a child? And Mother said, yes, I knew, but she had never told him about it. He was born in the 40s, and at that time, polio was pretty much prevalent. And she said that all of the children who were going to the hospital, they would put them in the ventilators and the machines, and they would die. So she kept him home, and every day she would pray over him, ask God to heal him, and anoint his feet. And through that process of prayer, she said eventually his feet straightened out, and he ran and played as rough and tough as ever. And
wow.
It was this incredible story that nobody knew, but the evidence that he had been healed was there. And it was so amazing. It was like, wow, look at God. Look at what God can do. And all of those years, nobody had any idea.
Wow. And there's examples in your own life, and you talk about, the other observations of healing and prayers that have been answered. And I think that's it. It's not like a one-stop shop. Remember there was a movie with Jim Carrey where I'm just going to, all these prayers, I want the, I want the Prada shoes. I want the whatever car. And maybe that's it. It's sometimes the confusion of materialistic stuff.
No, these prayers are for mind, spirit, body, soul to be healed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I personally feel that when we live in discomfort, when we live in dis-ease, that dis-ease eventually manifests itself as a physical disease. And so it is by us constantly being aware of our comfort zone. When we're out of our comfort zone, God said He would never leave us, neither will He forsake us. And so it's always being mindful, well, Lord, I don't feel comfortable right now in this situation, but to turn to Him. And the other aspect of it is to know that we have the power to speak healing to ourselves and to speak healing to others.
Wow. And so healing to ourselves, how do you do that?
I have a friend who came over the other day, and she said, oh, my hip hurts. And I said, every time you feel the pain, say, thank you, God, for healing me. It's a change of focus.
Okay, so you're taking it away from whatever it is, whatever the pain is.
When we focus on God, He manifests to us. If we speak to God and say, God, you are my healer, and I thank you for healing me, we receive healing from God.
Yeah.
When the things that we speak, our words and our thoughts, manifest the realities of our lives. And so what we're speaking, what we're focusing on, what we're talking about, just like Rhonda Byrne wrote in The Secret, that's what comes to us. And so if we're speaking healing, and we're speaking love, and we're speaking favor, we're speaking grace, many people refer to it simply as gratitude. And yes, it's an involuntary gratitude when you realize the things that God has done to preserve us, to protect us, in creating the human body.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The complex web that it is. So, J.D., you're a retired educator. You have been in Miami your whole life. You were a teacher, a school principal, an administrator, an assistant principal. You've done it all. Did you ever think you were going to write this book?
I wrote the book because there was a need. I guess I started writing it probably midway. I was with the school system in Florida for 39 years. I was actually born in Birmingham, Alabama. And as I've grown, the things that I saw, I was writing in response to circumstances, situations, people, things. There's another story in the book I tell about Elizabeth Brown, who refused to allow her body to have cancer. And she spoke to her body, and she spoke to God. And when the doctor sent for her, she did not go initially because she wanted to spend that time with God, decreeing and declaring that there was no cancer in her body. When she did go back to the doctor, there was no cancer.
Wow.
Just from the words that she spoke, just from the relationship that she saw herself in with God. And when you get to that place, that position, it's just amazing.
Yeah. What you said is just amazing. I'm thinking, boy, I hope people gravitate toward this and they can see the power of that. And you said it. Some people say gratitude, and then you take that, though, and you shift it, and then these are the stories that you're telling us about. What do you hope people walk away with when they read your book?
The ultimate thing is that I want them to walk away with a sense of peace, that there is a peace that God gives to us when we come to the place of trusting Him, knowing that He sees everything, He knows everything, but He has not made us into robots. He's given us free will. And so our will is to choose Him. When we choose Him, He brings light to our darkness. In Jeremiah, He said, call unto me, and I will show you great and mighty things that thou knowest not. It's like, well, God, I didn't know that. Lord, I didn't have that understanding. But by getting in that relationship with Him, it's just an amazing thing. That's one of the narratives in the book is about God, not Santa Claus. So we go to God for relationship with God, not for things.
Yeah, but it's what I mentioned, that you don't say, I want this, I need this, it's not about things. It's completely different. All right, the book is called 40 Days of Healing, a book of meditations, prayers, and testimonies of healing. Judy Cobb, it's been a delight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.